Hello everyone, welcome back to WePlay. We're finally here with our first match of the day. Our original first match did get cancelled, so unfortunately that happened. Bad things happen sometimes to good games, and apparently we're going to miss out on any MVP games whatsoever. But we will have Fnatic versus Team Redemption. Fnatic, who thanks to MVP Phoenix forfeiting out, are now the #1 slot and are guaranteed to be going to WePlay. So congrats to them. They're going to be playing out some matches just to make sure that, well, I guess they could keep their flawless run so far that they have in WePlay, but also they also can go ahead and make sure that that maybe one of these teams can make it in the top 4, or maybe one of them doesn't. We'll have to see. They have a match against Redemption, and I believe another match against, I think it's Execration. I can't remember, but that is only going to be the match versus Redemption today. We do have a draft, and I want to be able to introduce my co-caster, Heen, who's going to be joining me. Heen, I know you've been casting a lot of SEA Dota with Durka. Can you give me just a little bit of feelers about these two teams?
Radiant team back.
Well, first of all, I think Fnatic is on a hot streak right now. They got back from the majors with a strong showing, 6th place. Not very expected from most of the audience, considering they're from the SEA region. And you know, over the last year, their performance it's been okay, but not spectacular. But ever since they got back, most of the games from them have been impressive, like convincing stomps. So today, not much different. I think the fan favorite right now is Fnatic to win the game, and it's kind of on. There's some pressure on Redemption to put a stop to Fnatic's stomping spree. That said, I noticed Redemption first picked Nature's Prophet, and Fnatic almost immediately picked Beastmaster and Batrider. It's like, it kind of shows some confidence. They know exactly what they want to do against Nature's Prophet. And considering they're both often played as offlane heroes, I'm interested to see what kind of setup they have in mind.
Sorry, a little distracted because I am getting some very weird
Static
voice thing from you. I mean, we tested everything out, you know. I'm not sure.
Okay, is it bad?
No, I'm sure. No. It's actually something different entirely, but we'll see.
Okay.
Maybe it'll fix itself as time goes on. Either way, yeah, Fnatic. Okay, so actually go with what you were talking about. Fnatic was definitely a surprise to me that they were able to play so well. I don't know. What was your feeling watching the majors? Because obviously you and I haven't really talked about it. Did you think that Fnatic really stepped up at the majors and really like outperformed their opponents, or do you think that was some of the weakness of the Chinese teams? Fnatic did take on OG, which was really impressive. That was the match that surprised me the most, I think.
I think my honest opinion is that Fnatic, of course, played well, but it wasn't all of them. I felt like a lot of their wins, of course, they deserve it because they played better, but it almost felt like Fnatic were playing their own game, and a lot of the upsets, the losing team kind of they had weird drafts where they kind of played into Fnatic. Usually, Fnatic before the majors wouldn't have been considered the favorites against most of the teams that they were matched against, and it almost felt like it was the opposite in the games where the teams expected to win were sort of losing confidence, and they're making these questionable plays and decisions. But that said, I had my doubts about Fnatic's run in the majors, but the games I've seen from WePlay, of course, the level of competition is not quite the same, but nonetheless, their games have been pretty structured, and I can tell that these guys know what they're doing. They at least know what they want to do in the game, which is more than you can say for a lot of the teams.
Good. I like that. I really like your honesty there, because I kind of felt like the same thing. It was just, you know, it feels kind of like, you know, you want to be able to praise Fnatic, but you also don't want to take anything away from them. But I do agree completely with what you're saying. Let's talk about our draft, though, because we've got a Beastmaster, Batrider, and Whis now for Fnatic, while Team Redemption have run a pretty, what I would say, stock standard, at least in my eyes, for this patch. Nature's Prophet, Invoker, and now a Sven. Picking up your 3 cores right away can be a little bit questionable, but I think that it's still, you're picking up the 3 cores that are arguably the most popular from each position.
Yeah, for sure. I think one problem for Redemption right now is that their cores don't match up too well against the first two picks from Fnatic. The Beastmaster and Batrider was like an instant response to Nature's Prophet. They're obviously very good at getting vision that you're not supposed to, or like that are unique to these heroes. So that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Nature's Prophet, and they both conveniently have anti-BKB control against the Sven. So I feel like there might be a lot of pressure on Invoker. I think it's Lance playing the mid. The last time I watched Redemption, DDZ was playing the off lane and Lance was playing mid. So I'm not sure if they're gonna stick to that, but there might be a lot of pressure on Invoker to perform. And the IO, haven't seen too much of IO from Fnatic, and we're seeing a Zeus pickup from Fnatic. So I don't know where this draft is going, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know either. Do you think that they intended to pick up Sven? The Wisp-Sven combination, plus it's a natural carry versus Furion.
Yeah, for sure. It would have been a possibility, and they were thinking, will Redemption kind of like deny pick us just to deny us the combo? That said, though, one of the Beastmaster or Batrider was likely going to be a support. They could have like a mid Batrider and an offlane Beastmaster, but I got the feeling that they've been running a lot of greedy supports, basically. DJ came back from his vacation, and 343 was standing in. So maybe possibly like a jungle Beastmaster with an IO. I'm not sure how they're going to pull that off in the early game, but it'll be interesting to see. And Redemption going for a more standard, he's just like well-rounded for now.
Yeah, the Wyvern's the only hero that actually kind of stands out, but then again, I feel like it is a pretty good answer to most Wisp combinations, and it will be a nice counter initiator versus Batrider and Beastmaster. So as long as it's looking like as long as they're able to push this game late, Team Redemption have this in the bag, unless Fnatic gets some like really late game carry here. But I don't know what they could possibly get, because Fnatic were the ones who banned away the Spectre in the 3-4, and you can see Team Redemption banned away one of the other like best late game carries out there, which was Medusa. I think they were probably just like at a little bit of losses what could possibly picked up. I remember seeing Fnatic run a Medusa strat that was pretty interesting not so long ago, but I'm not sure if this would actually fit here. I guess it's the only Wisp hero that's left that I'm somewhat okay with. I guess they just don't want to run Tiny Wisp at all, but it's going to be a Phantom Assassin Wisp combination.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I sort of made a semi-complaint that Fnatic seems to only play Spectre and Medusa, and now that both the heroes are banned, they're forced to pick something new.
Yeah.
And, it's a PA, and it's completely new for me. I guess one of the upsides of PA is she doesn't crit on her allies when she gets Winter's Cursed. Does she? I don't think she does.
I don't think she does either.
Yeah, generally you don't crit or bash on your allies.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good against Sven. Like all these heroes on Redemption, awkward heroes to get MKB on. Invoker just has way too many utility items that make it so that the opportunity cost on getting MKB is high. Same for Sven, but not so much. But we'll have to see how the early game goes, because that's going to decide everything.
Yeah, it certainly is, especially for I would say there's a bit more pressure on Fnatic to make this kind of lineup work, but we'll see. DJ is going to be starting off tethering over to Ohio, who is going to try and lay down a early ward, not going for the boots first build, but instead the ring of protection plus some extra regen. The matchup you're facing up against, the Wyvern and Sven, I guess probably isn't going to be a very easy kill lineup, so I think Ohio is planning on a lot more longevity in this kind of lane.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's more worried about... Winter Wyvern generally wants to get a fast level 6, so he's going to spend a lot of time pulling creeps, but when he does get gone on, like the boots aren't going to help too much against Sven's stun. So it's more about surviving that initial burst, getting healed up, possibly with a salve or the wisp rotation.
Right. It's an interesting ward already laid out by the bounty hunter in our mid. Very unlikely to be countered by Zeus, but still giving some vision in the mid lane. So mid one will have some eyes on him. Looks like they're gonna try and contest for the bottom bounty rune, but Redemption got to go all in if they want to be able to save this one from disaster to start, and that's not going to be the case. Double bounty runes being picked up by Fnatic.
That is really weird. This is the third time I've seen Fnatic get both bounty runes in just WePlay, and with the heroes they have on Redemption, I felt like they could have better architected a way to ensure that the Invoker gets the bounty rune.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they have Treants. Treants are ridiculous at level 1 fights.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want to have a good start. For Fnatic, well, you definitely got it. They just managed to get both bounty runes. They also just countered the laning ward that was placed by Redemption. So they're actually going to be running net as harassing hero at bottom, sort of like a support to try and make sure Ohio's okay, but he may not be okay as this sticky napalm is not actually protecting him. He's going to be body blocked up quite heavily, but it looks like those last couple of right clicks are not going to be enough. And unfortunately, that means Redemption will miss out on that first blood as Ohio's able to turn it around now with healing sub.
Ring of protection.
Ring of protection, indeed. Makes all the difference in the world. At Bounty Hunter's blocks were pretty good, but it just wasn't quite enough to secure the kill.
Also, I thought it might be a Beastmaster jungle, but that would have been quite hard with the, the DJ needs to farm on the Wisp as well. So it looks like a dual offlane, which was popular quite a few patches ago, when you just pick two offlane heroes and you send them together, and it's so much more pressure on the safe lane.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker, Darkseer, Slardar, Undying, or with Undying Tusk. Yeah, those were the.
There were like so many combinations.
Yeah,
but it felt like it was like the same combo every time. It's just a difficult safe lane.
Mm-hmm. So Fnatic kind of bringing a little bit of that back with Net. I'm interested to see how are they actually going to keep this here? Is he going to still pick up an Iron Talon at some point in time and try and do jungle at all, or are they just content to do this completed dual lane? It's definitely not something either of us expected.
Yeah, what would be cool is if Net summons the boars to stack for Ohio. That way, Batrider, who already leaves the lane when he's played solo, can leave the lane, and meanwhile Net can get some good EXP. But he's not doing that for now. Playing more of a laning-oriented game.
Yeah, feels kind of necessary when the Bounty Hunter was here, but Bounty Hunter isn't here anymore, as he's actually going to be heading towards the mid lane now. There is a counter ward already laid out early on by the Bounty Hunter. They probably, I didn't see it, but they probably took down one of the counter wards from Zeus.
Yeah, they did. Looks like Zeus is going to just walk back to the fountain, not bother with the runes. That's one thing that Redemption have going for them, is a really good rune control between the Bounty Hunter and the Nature's Prophet teleport potential.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Got pretty good control of the movement of this early game. Fnatic definitely a lot more static in their lanes. And that's probably going to continue for quite some time, at least until maybe DJ gets level 6, and then you can have your first kind of couple rotations, but even then, Batrider's not going to be ready until he has Blink. Looks like they're going to start going on Ohio at this bottom lane, though. He will be able to get off the Firefly and gets over to the cliff area where he should be fine. Now it's a question of whether or not Net's going to be able to survive, as he was trying to help out his ally. They're going to have the Fury on TP and provide the extra help, but seriously, they're taking so much damage underneath this Firefly. They may have gotten the kill, but they're going to be losing 2, 3, maybe even 4 heroes for all of this, as Nature Prophet is going to be run down as well. What an unbelievable start for Ohio, as Redemption, they just put on the blinders and go for that kill, damning any of the costs, and the costs are quite heavy. Ohio is now level 5. He's got a triple kill under his belt by 4 minutes. He's got Bottle from, that's actually his Bottle, yeah. DJ just brought in a Bottle for him, Ring of Batsy as well as Boots.
I don't know what to say about that. It's just so bad for Redemption. Anytime you get like pretty much team wiped at 4 minutes.
Oh, big one! He's turning it around. Oh man, Smart play, turning around and going for the Invoker, making the best out of a bad situation, but it's still going to cost them both their heroes in the mid lane, and that ends up in a double kill for the Bounty Hunter. He barely managed to dodge the Sunstrike by turning around and just fighting the Invoker, which resulted in getting the kill, but still a good rotation from Redemption nonetheless.
We're at bottom. Now Lance is going to get bullied.
He does have both Warcry and the stun. That's going to help him out, but it looks like he's still going to be chased down underneath the tower, as the Wyvern is not here to be able to provide any saving grace.
You know, like, the kills in themselves aren't that big of a deal, but the repercussions of, you know, what do these kills mean right now, I feel like because of that complete blunder by Redemption early on, giving Batrider so many levels and gold, this Sven, a hero that's meant to just free farm and maximize his farm potential until the mid game, is not gonna. The heroes, you know, the premise of the hero changes completely. So I'm a bit worried for Redemption, because the laning stage has, I mean, the rules of the laning stage are kind of broken now.
They are keeping mid one down quite a bit, as that was now the third attempted gank, I think, from the Bounty Hunter plus Furion combination onto mid one, and they're successful for the second time. So they're keeping him down, but his bottom lane is turning pretty disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about mid one is, from the games that I've casted of them in WePlay net, it should result in an easy kill.
Sunstrike actually doesn't hit, so he's able to get off the axes, and that may actually provide enough damage to get a couple of extra kills, as they're going to be able to come in with the relocate, go on to the Winter Wyvern, who will be eventually burning to death here. The only escapee is the Bounty Hunter, who gets away, but again, not a worthy trade at this bottom lane for Redemption.
I should have said it should have been an easy kill, but a costly kill for Redemption. I didn't realize the Wisp was so high leveled. He did a good job of. I seem to remember him running around often. He showed up at bottom, mid.
I think he collected probably at least 2, maybe 3 of those kills in experience. Obviously, he didn't get the bounty for 3 of them, but I think he was there for like a lot of the experience on that weird bottom lane fight.
IO is 4-1.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Okay. And one of the things, mid one, he's always the one getting ganked like this for me.
Yeah, he's just. Is this just his lot in life to bear on Fnatic? He just.
It is. I'm not even joking. Like, there was a game 2 days ago or 3 days ago where he started 0-4 at 4 minutes or something. It was like just one of the worst games you could have as Zeus. And, you know, 10, 15 minutes later, he was godlike. Like, he's a mid-game, late-game oriented player. And I think Fnatic as a team understand the dynamic, like who needs the farm. And like, it's always good that your mid player gets a good start, but they kind of trust that he'll bounce back despite the bad early game, and focus on the off lane and safe lane having a better game.
Yeah, and like a hero like Zeus is kind of good for that exact position, right? It's not a hero that necessarily requires a whole lot of farm to still be able to output massive amounts of damage in team fights, so as long as they don't draft him anything that's super hard carry-wise.
Yeah, meanwhile, Batrider almost has that Blink Dagger, just 300 gold away. It's just very good timing, because he's also level 8, so you'd rather just have higher levels and a pretty good Blink Dagger timing than just a good Blink Dagger.
Lance is dead again. They do have the Zeus ultimate. Looks like they were able to pick up double kills at top lane, but let's see whether or not they can actually get the Winter Wyvern as well. Bounced over to the side. They will be able to chase down the Winter Wyvern. And that is almost a completed wipe. They have 2 heroes at the bottom lane, 2 heroes at top. The only surviving member of Redemption right now is DDC, who's calmly farming away in the mid lane, trying to get his Midas.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like these 2 teams are in different eras right now. Fnatic, laning stages past them. They're just kind of playing as if it's the mid game. While Redemption, for them, they want the laning stage to continue, but Fnatic are saying, nope, I mean, it's ended. You guys lost the laning stage. Let's move on. And Volker still, he just got that Midas. And, you know, Sven, I'm so worried for Sven. When is he going to have the time to farm up those ancient stacks that aren't even there and be the monster of a hero that he's become popular for?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more questionable starts to a Sven that I've ever seen. Do you think he still goes? Oh, bottom lane, they're going to relocate into the Primal Roar. This is going to be a combination kill that you'll see time and time again in this game. Beastmaster setting up a relocate is kind of classic combination. Looks like they should be able to get the tier 1 tower as well. Meanwhile, in mid lane, is Bounty Hunter going to attempt something here? The Invoker is coming across, but they actually see the Bounty Hunter, are going to be able to pull him back with the lasso. They manage to finish him off. Mid one, he's trying to get away, will be able to stay ahead of that Sunstrike, it looks like. The Furion ult bounces around, it does some damage to him, but it's still not quite enough. Ohio's actually diving in for more. He's going to be able to catch the Winter Wyvern, it looks like, as, oh no, not quite enough damage. 40 HP, all that was left on the Furion, but he does manage to get away. Still, though, again, a free kill for Fnatic as they control the runes this time.
Yeah, that was a nice anticipation dust by Ohio, but we haven't even seen the full potential of Fnatic's lineup. I feel this is only the beginning of the mid game, mostly due to how the lanes panned out. The mid game kind of started fast, but just notice all the crazy vision potential they have on Fnatic. They have Zeus, they have Beastmaster and Batrider, and they have the relocate. So if this game goes even more one-sided than this, then Redemption, how are they ever going to leave their base, take advantage of Nature's Prophet's mobility around the map?
Yeah, there's something to be said, even though they are like the 3 most popular core heroes in the patch right now, they do all need an individual amount of farm, and they're not like the kind of heroes such as the Batrider who's going to just be looking for fights like all day, every day. Furion's going to be off on his own. Sven wants to be able to do, you know, the stacking and farming that we were talking about, but it still isn't anywhere close to. And obviously Invoker always goes for that Hanamitis Drums build, and it's kind of slow. So this offers so many opportunities for Fnatic with their wanted amount of vision just to be able to pick these heroes off time and time again.
Yeah. I mean, Nature's Prophet, by the way, is going for the Midas, it seems. He's saving up that gold on top of the Gloves of Haste. So it kind of reminds me of the game that Fnatic played against Mineski. Mineski chose to draft Sven 2 times, both the times that they played them. And Sven basically, he was torn between farming and fighting for the team, because Sven he's one of the few carries that can initiate for the team, and they desperately needed someone to be in the front line, you know, controlling the Fnatic heroes. And Lance...
And Lance is going to be picked off while trying to do those Ancients. Beastmaster spin sitting on the side here. Finally going to pop his head out. We'll go for the Primal Roar onto DDZ, which they'll quickly follow up with a relocate once again. Trying to chase down the Bounty Hunter towards the tail end. Mid one's going to be able to pick that one up with the ultimate. Nice ulti there. Winter's Curse laid down, but the Winter Wyvern will be able to kill the Wisp, but it doesn't really matter as he trades away his own life for that. And in the end, a 1-for-4 exchange, which Fnatic will also claim probably the middle tier 1 tower for.
Yeah, did they get a... No, they didn't get a track kill on the Wisp. I mean, one of the things that they can do is, you know, play defensively. Obviously, you can't just be like YOLO and get frustrated and make plays that are not going to result well just because you're frustrated. So they can bait Fnatic in somehow and try to get as many tracks as possible. I mean... use the aggression on Fnatic against them. That's all I can say about them for Redemption right now.
Right.
Otherwise, this game is just by the nature of Fnatic's draft, it's going to get extremely hard, because once this mid-tier 1 falls for Redemption, they have no control about going into their jungle, farming lanes past their tier 2s, contesting Roche. These things are going to get exponentially harder.
I don't think I've ever seen a Sven farm Ancients without his Helmet Dominator yet.
Yeah, this is like a... Sven on a good game has 2 more items. He has like a Sanjin Yasha and a Blink Dagger.
Yeah. He should essentially be probably a little bit around where Mushi is, despite Mushi being completely overinflated with a Midas and a 3-0 and 4 score. That's just kind of like what this Fen does.
Yeah, you mentioned that these 3 cores on Redemption are possibly, you know, some of the most popular heroes for the responding roles, but when you're losing like this, the problem becomes that the jungle. Oh, Nature's Prophet couldn't even catch it. The jungle becomes way too crowded. These heroes, Nature's Prophet, Invoker, Sven, they need to be, you know, they need at least 2 core items to do stuff. Oh, they have the track. DJ.
Oh, I completely missed that because the relocate to bottom, but yeah, they do get that kill. And it's a track kill. Hey. Redemption, a little something going right for them, as they need a lot to go right for them. As right now, they're probably behind by soon to be 10,000 gold and over 10,000 experience. I'm sure Roshan is likely to be a target soon. Fnatic can probably go for it now while the tier 1 tower is taking at the top lane. There's no reason to contest that, so they can go for a separate objective if they want.
I wonder if they're going to give up the tier 2 though for Roche. Because earlier mid 1 as the Zeus was TPing to the top tier 1 and then canceled. Probably the team made a call saying it's not worth it. Let's just go for Roche.
Right.
But giving this tier 2 on top of it might... giving Roche is bad, but if you're this far behind, I'd say Redemption would be pretty happy with getting 2 towers without having to confront the much more farm Fnatic heroes.
All right, since we don't see very much PA, do you think this is the build for a Phantom Assassin? Winter Wyvern's not making it out. The SNY and drums, just like in a lot of early stats.
I like it for this game because he does have the IO, and let's lay out some options on PA. You can go Battle Fury first, or you can go. Some people tend to go Basher first because, not super fast Basher, but generally pretty you get a Bracer or drums and then Basher for the the bash on your daggers. But this build I like because they have the IO, and a lot of people sometimes when you have healing on your team and sustain, they think it's okay to not have that much HP pool, but I think with this much HP pool, will she have peace on strength spreads?
Trying to jump onto Nature's Prophet. This isn't going to work out as there is a Winter Wyvern to be able to provide the turnaround. And Furion will be able to just TP out. But I can see what you're saying, right? That if you have this wealth of stats, you can make sure that you don't get popped, and that healing, that sustain always comes into play.
Yeah, the movement speed, and added to the fact that I think the most important thing is that he doesn't have to be the damage dealer on this team. Zeus is going to do pretty...
He's going to be pulled back to his doom. Mushi's already jumping on a DZZ, who does get bounced back. They have vision of him. They can keep on going. Mushi's going to be able to crit him to death. Now an extra kill on the side. Mid one does get his great comeback, though. A triple kill for him in this mid fight. As he's back in business now with an Ether Lens, Blink Dagger, and another 1,400 gold. All those deaths in the mid lane have been completely forgotten.
Yeah, what a massacre. Just looking at this past brief team fight, continuing on my point, I think PA's role is not to carry his team. If it comes to that, he will, but for now, it's he's actually the tankiest guy on the team, despite being, the stereotype of PA is that he's quite squishy, doesn't have that much hit points in survivability. But he's going to be that guy who Zeus is going to provide the vision. He's going to do a bunch of damage to everyone evenly. And then PA is going to clean up or force Sven, for example, or the rest of the heroes on Redemption to use important spells on him. But he has the Aegis spend. He's backed up by Wisp, so it's what do you do?
There's not many options for Redemption at this point. It seems like the best course of action is probably dodging fights and trying to wait out the Aegis, but Fnatic will probably just take all these objectives.
Redemption smoked right under the Fnatic ward, so Fnatic, they have an option to actually, they completely are well aware that they smoked, and they can bait this because they have relocation.
Yep, they're actually going to jump and immediately grab it, the Winter Wyvern, and the rest of Fnatic coming in with the relocate, but Redemption have already backed themselves away. They're actually going to go for the top lane, where Net is going to be a potential casualty here. Can't do anything as he's being cold snapped to death. Will end up going down. But at the same time, they got to get back to bottom lane nice and fast because Mushi is pushing it in.
Pre-20-minute racks. Oh, this is going to be rough. But you can tell, based on that, you know, Redemption are the ones who 5-man smoke, and 2 people, the Bat Rider and Zeus, initiated a fight onto Redemption, knowing that they were smoked. That basically sums up the state of this game, how confident they are.
Oh, the Zeus ultimate going to be able to finish off that Wyvern. Bounty Hunter was trying to get as many tracks out as possible. Doesn't really matter, though, if you can't get any kills, as DDZ is also going to be falling. And the 4-man crew of Fnatic will take this lane of racks by 20 minutes, and there is the GG call. So DDZ knows that the end is very much nigh, and he's going to call it early. Fnatic been on a very dominant run so far in WePlay, and will continue that flawless run now.
Yeah, I didn't really have too many problems with Redemption's lineup. I just felt like it could have been a lot different game if... I mean, there were a lot of blunders early on. They failed to secure a bounty rune. Unless there's something going on that shouldn't happen. You're getting first blood somewhere else, so that no heroes can go to the rune. And then the laning stuff, like 4 people got killed at 4 minutes.